My name is Bailey O'Carroll. It has certainly been one roller coaster of a week in the sports world, especially in the NCAA tournament. Luna, the tournament has been absolute madness this year. What is going on in college basketball? I really like this region for them. You know, they aren't going to have to face a defensive mastermind school like Baylor, and they aren't going to have to face UConn, who has a 70% chance to win it all again. I don't know who's in that 30% chance that doesn't have them winning it all, but we'll see how things play out. I think the only matchup that is a little bit questionable for ASU is that South Carolina matchup. You know, they lost them earlier this season, so we'll have to see just how it plays out, but I'm not too worried about them. Sophie Bruner said one of the main things that helped them out was their experience. If you see here, she's able to stay focused, keep her eye on that basket, and get fouled, get sent to the line. This foul kind of looked a little iffy, kind of could have gone either way over the back, could have been all ball, you see there. But regardless, got to the line, made her free throw, and was able to help her team onto a win. Charlie is the glue that really holds this team together. They would definitely not be where they are today without her and her coaching staff. She's made ASU the only team in NCAA history to beat Stanford 4 times in a row in the regular season. I think this speaks a lot to what Charlie Turner-Thorne has done and what she's going to continue to do later on. So if you see here, they kind of leave Quinn all alone right there. There is no one to help her on that weak side. You see Sabrina Haynes, Arnesia Hawkins, they're kind of just standing there watching. If they get caught in that again against Stanford, they're going to make them pay it. Again, like I said earlier, it's not going to be good. So if they can limit those defensive mistakes, I think they'll be good for Stanford. Yeah, she went 0 of 9 from the field against Oregon State. She was scoreless. That was obviously a big reason kind of why they lost also. But, you know, I think she's had a changing role on this team this season. She went from more of a shoot-first guard last season to a pass-first guard this season. Again, I don't think that there's any reason to have concern over her. She's experienced and she's going to keep shooting and get out of that slump. You know, they're a senior-driven team, like you said, Gavin. I think they're going to learn from what they did last time, and they're going to change it this time. I think it's going to be ASU and Oregon State in the final championship game, and I think ASU is going to pull this one out. The Atlanta Hawks forgot something important in Detroit after their game: their starting guard, Jeff Teague. Teague was spotted outside Palace of the Auburn Hills this past week talking on the phone because his team and bus were nowhere to be found. Teague was eventually reunited with his team. And lastly, for some NBA fun facts, the San Antonio Spurs are the only franchise in NBA history to have a winning record against every other team in the NBA. And the Golden State Warriors are 56.5 games ahead of the Philadelphia 76ers, making it the largest ever gap between two teams. Twitter is everywhere. It's a game changer and has changed the way people receive news. You can pull your phone out at any time and check the score of a game whenever you want, but as entertaining as it can be, people often forget the detriment it can cause. For instance, I'm not one to take things personally. In fact, I got a bit of a chuckle out of this, but when someone tweets at you that you know nothing about sports and should return to the kitchen, mind you, that's the PG-rated version, there's an obvious problem about what hiding behind a screen can bring people to say. Twitter and other social media are breeding grounds for those who would normally not have the audacity to say something to your face, but instead behind a screen. For those that think hiding behind a screen is giving you security, think twice and remember that @Bailey O'Carroll is a real person. And while I know this may not change how you act on social media, keep in mind that real people can be affected by what you say, and that's the way it is. And that will do it for this week in sports. Can it possibly get any crazier? Only time will tell.